Alright, so I really want to talk about how I actually started taking cold showers and it's really been helping me a lot. So, a while back, around same time last year, so I got into self improvement. I got into Hamza. I started watching podcasts about just self improvement, including Jordan Peterson, Andrew Huberman. So, Andrew Huberman would talk a lot about taking cold showers and how it increases your dopamine and that it stays in your system. The dopamine stays in your system for a long while. It makes you really productive and everything. And at first, I watched the videos. I didn't really implement them. You might relate to that if you're watching, but I just watched their videos and didn't really think much about it. I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I think sometime around September last year, after a few months, and I was watching so many self improvement content, not just about taking cold showers, but also like working out and eating healthy. So there was a lot of information that I was taking in, and I didn't really know where to start. So taking cold showers seemed to be the easiest to do, or just the simplest. It was the most accessible. So I just one day decided to actually take a cold shower, and it was probably the most brutal things at first because it really shocks you at first. If a bunch of just cold water just drops on you, it really shocks you. But ever since then, I think I've been taking. I don't take anything else other than a cold shower now. Like I can't live without basically cold showers. I would never take a hot shower. Like even if the water is warm or like kind of hot, I won't be able to stand it, right? But it really has changed me a lot, and I want to talk about my experience. So I've been doing it consistently for about 7 8 months, and it definitely has changed a lot. And whatever MD Huberman talks about the dopamine increase, I really do feel that because if you're like a university student like me and you're doing classes and you probably have some like club activities or you're doing a form of sport, your general day or like just an average day in your life is usually like going to classes, doing your assignments, meeting up with friends, or just doing household chores or whatever. If you incorporate a cold shower into that day, that's probably the hardest thing that you're gonna do, or one of the hardest things that you're gonna do is take a cold shower on an average day. So what I started to do was once I woke up, I didn't really wake up in the mornings. I wouldn't like wake up at 7 a.m. or 5 a.m. Probably like 10, 11, which is not that early, but it's average. But the first thing I would do after waking up and like freshening up, going to the washroom or whatever, is take a cold shower. So what that did was it basically got the most hardest thing that I had to do that day out of the way, right? And it gave me a boost of confidence that I've conquered the most difficult thing to do. Now, whatever else was there, doing an assignment or um, finishing this club meeting or whatever, or practicing this sport, it seemed much easier because I've conquered one of the most difficult things to do. So that made the day way more productive. And the dopamine does increase. I can say that you'd feel more pumped up. It's like after you've returned from the gym or after I've done a PR, like it makes you feel more pumped up, and that does really help a lot. Now, one tip that I could give you is that what I've realized is that so in my shower, basically you just turn this thing and to adjust the um, temperature of the water, right? So when I stand under the shower, um, so what I used to do at first, and I still do it, is that you turn it to its hottest temperature. So when you turn it on, you just turn it to the hottest temperature. Usually it will take like a few seconds for the water to get warm, and that's where the shock gets you. So yeah, you're shocked for like a few seconds and you wait for the water to get warm. You have to be under the water at that time. At first I would just stay out of the water, wait for it to get warm, and then go in. You could do that if you've never taken a cold shower, but at this point right now I just stand under the shower and just let the water fucking get all of my get all of my fucking body. But yeah, so there's a few seconds I'm just sort of trying to get used to that cold water, right? And then once the water starts to get warm, I start to adjust the temperature to make it cooler. So towards the beginning of my shower, the water is not really ice cold, but it's not warm either. It's pretty sort of average temperature or a little bit cold, right? And as I progress to the shower, I turn the temperature down so I keep the water cooling. And by the end of my shower, it's probably the coldest. Like I end my shower with like around 10-20 seconds of just ice cold water just hitting my head, and then I end the shower. And also, if you do that, especially if you're doing this in winter times, once you get out of the shower, you don't really feel as cold because you've been in a much cooler place. So once you get out, you actually feel warmer. So that does help a lot. And yeah, I think if that helps you, that'd be great. But this was just an experiment. I don't know if it's gonna watch this or what's gonna happen. But yeah, thanks for watching.